Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be trying and probably failing to talk about the infamous diner scene from 2004's Mulholland Drive, considered to be one of the most frightening scenes of all time. I'm Sandy Nicholson and this is Perfect Scares.
I had a dream about this place.
This scene's been heavily requested since I started this series, and I've put it off for a long time because this one's really tough to talk about. The truth is, I don't know why this is scary, or I suppose more accurately I should say, I don't know why this scares me, but it does. In the jump scares video, I introduced the idea of the traditional equations of laughter and fear. Laughter equals surprise plus safety, fear equals surprise plus danger. Most horror scenes broadly fit this idea, and the fun is in how the filmmakers create the surprise and the danger. But in that video I said that it wasn't always as simple as that, and the diner scene is a pretty excellent counterpoint to it, because there is no surprise. A man sits down at a diner, he tells us exactly what is going to happen, and then it happens. And yet, it's ferociously effective, so why? One idea is that it's pure suspense. There's a brutal sense of dread to knowing exactly what's going to happen and not being able to stop it, especially when our two characters seem so kind and genuine. The friend doesn't make fun of him, doesn't belittle him, he just says, okay, let's conquer this. Together they set off on a mission to face this fear and overcome it.
There's a man in back of this place.
I think part of it as well is that because we're put right in the perspective of this character, there's a sense of being forced to take part in this. Like, we don't want to go back there, but know it's the right thing to do. We're desperately hoping it will be nothing, and the shock and terror we feel when it isn't is palpable.
I hope that I never see that face ever outside of a dream.
Another part of it is possibly that without drawing attention to it, this scene plays with how we expect the scene to go. The first human joke is the game of peekaboo, where a being whose lack of object permanence means they literally cannot distinguish between a thing being out of sight and a thing not existing, is cruelly shown a reality where it has nobody to look after it, a state that this creature is instinctively programmed to perceive as a primal crisis. We plunge the baby into a world where it believes its death is a certainty, only to say, "It's okay, I'm here," and the baby laughs. This is surprise plus safety. But because of this, and because of face your fear narratives that dominate Western storytelling, we're conditioned to believe that nothing will happen when he looks behind the wall. But instead...
Dad, are you all right?
And finally, there's the idea of the uncanny. I was lucky enough to go to an art exhibition all about the uncanny at the Freud Museum in London, and the idea put forth in Freud's essay was that feeling of unease is what happens when your subconscious perception has noticed something that your conscious perception has not. Something subtly wrong that you can't quite place your finger on. Side note, there's something very interesting about the way that psychoanalysis has largely fallen by the wayside in terms of serious modern psychological discussion, but still so thoroughly permeates almost all critical discussion of film and television. But that's for someone who's a lot smarter than I am to write about. As a theory, though, I've always thought it was really interesting, and it's certainly true that there are things in this scene that are subtly wrong. The lighting, the slightly inhuman performances, the languid pauses, and you could argue that the dialogue is designed to specifically draw your attention to these things and heighten that uncanny dread.
They start out that I'm in here, but it's not day or night. It's kind of half night, you know? But it looks just like this.
Still, none of these ideas feel quite right to me, or maybe they all feel a bit right, but with missing pieces. In the end, though, I think it's a remarkable scene and definitely worth talking about, even if I can't pretend to have any real insight into why it works.
Dad, are you all right?
Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your ideas on why you think this scene hits the way it does, or maybe there are people out there for whom this just doesn't work. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.